Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to part 7 of Let's Play Metroid Prime. I am, of course, ExoParadigmGamer. In the last part, we got both the dark and light beams. So now we can pretty much go, for quite a while, we can go pretty much anywhere. That dark liquid, by the way, will hurt you, so do not touch it. Oh, I should probably scan these things, if I can get the cursor to lock onto them. These are Darkling tentacles. Some Darklings can open dimensional portals at will. They use this ability to hunt for unwary prey, reaching out to snatch them with their tentacles. Once ensnared, the prey is dragged to its doom. The tentacles are resilient. Pure light energy can disrupt them. Nothing can destroy them. These are basically like the Reaper vines from Metroid Prime 1. Lock onto them and shoot them, and then they go away. One thing worth noting about the light and dark beams is that if you run out of ammo, that does not mean that you cannot shoot it at all. It just means that you have to charge for a single shot. So if you run out of dark ammo and you're worried about whether or not you can move, you can get anywhere, don't worry. You're not blocked from opening certain doors just because you're out of ammo. Just charge up the beam and move on. Okay. What is that? Oh, I would have missed that. This is the Dark Preed. The aggressive Preeds are often possessed by Darklings for aerial hunting missions. The presence of this dark creature makes the small cyborg more durable. The toxic gas carried by a Preed is enhanced by exposure to dark energy, making it considerably more dangerous. Right. So, like I said earlier, when you go through a regular portal and don't use a scan-activated portal, the portal back to the light world will not be where you found the dark portal. So you will have to explore around the area a little bit to find them. Good news for you, that if you pay attention to the map, you will see that the portals and their locations are labeled on the map. Easy enough to find them. Fucker. Huh, I figured it would only take one hit. Yeah, I got him. Again, if you're playing the Wii version, you can just tap the plus button to switch back to the power beam at any time. Pretty simple. Now, where is that Luminoth? In this room over here, and these are so much more useful in this game compared to Prime 1, is an ammo recharge station. These will refill your that was a bit loud, sorry about that. This will refill your light, dark beam ammos and your missiles all the way up. If you're stopping by one, and again, these are marked on the map, so if you want to get back quick, you know, that's always a thing that can happen. Yeah, these inglets stand like no chance against the light beam. Okay, here's the portal out. I don't think there's anything else we can get in the dark ether at the moment, because we can't conveniently reach it without a particular upgrade. Yeah, that's pretty much why. Now, means that we're pretty much done. I think we can backtrack. Yes, I think I'm going to turn around to go the other way. That was actually the room where we fought Dark Samus. Head out this way. I think there's one power-up we can get across the hall from us, so I think that's where I'm going to be going next for the time being. And because it's not like super backtracking, I don't think I'm going to cut. Because I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all of my backtracking. See, like I said before, the dark beam is useful. People just don't bother to use it because they want to bitch about the game instead of finding things to like. Kind of like with Sonic Adventure 2. These are new enemies. We saw them earlier, but now that they're actually attacking us, we might as well identify them. These are Talon Metroids. Space pirates harvest and enslave Metroids for use in their operations. The Talon Metroid will latch onto prey with powerful pincers that proceed to drain its life energy. This causes the creature to grow in size and mass. The creatures are vulnerable to the chilling effect of dark energy and can be detached by entering morph ball mode and deploying a bomb. Let's see, energy craving. Taken from planet Talon 4, target leeches bioenergy. Now, here's what I don't understand. It's basically saying like, oh, these are the Metroids from Talon 4, and that's why they look like this. But the Metroids we saw on Talon 4 in the first game just look like regular dang old Metroids. So what happened? Now, the easiest way to kill them is to use your Dark Beam. Again, the Dark Beam is not useless. All the people who say the Dark Beam is useless did not bother to try using it. Because, like, I mean, like, the utility of the light beam, I guess, is a little more obvious because, like, that's what you're going to be using against many of the Ing bosses. So it's, like, obvious that's what you want to use. But if you actually experiment with the Dark Beam, you'll find that it is very, very effective against light world enemies, particularly at this stage in the game. It's just like it's an alternative to using your missiles, and it uses less ammo overall. Speaking of ammo, I'm gonna quickly kill these guys with Dark Beam. See, look at that! Look at how quick that was. The Dark and Light Beams are indispensable in a hard mode, basically hyper mode. Hi there. Thank you. And I briefly went over this earlier, but you will be wanting to use the opposite beam of what you are lacking in order to get more ammo. Using light... Yeah, I more or less went over that earlier. Kind of a skill that you really have to hone for the game ahead, because it can be... making sure you have enough ammo is kind of like one of the most important tasks. So what we'll want to do here is shoot that. Yes. It's a little ambiguous what it is that you're supposed to shoot. It's not the most obvious thing in the world, but I think I got most of it. What is shooting at me? One thing that's kind of weird about these turrets is that you don't control them with the motion control. You use the control stick, which feels kind of out of place in the Wii version, at least. It made sense in the GameCube version, but here it's just like, why am I not using the pointer? I think I got everything. So there'll be very few occasions we'll use the turret, so I don't know, the control's not bad or anything. I just find it weird. I think this is some of the last of the lore here. Yeah, according to that, this is the last space pirate log. Another hunter wearing the traditional colors of Samus Aran made planetfall today. Horrific as it may sound, there are 2 of them now. We are bracing for a new assault. This dire turn of events may bear some goodwill. One of our scouts in Dark Ether saw a curious encounter. The Dark Hunter attacked the one clad as Samus near his Phazon site. Perhaps they are not allies, but foes. Perhaps we can forge an alliance with the Dark Hunter in exchange, Phazon for the head of our common enemy. Yeah, I doubt that would work out very well, because Dark Samus is kind of a bitch. Now, I think this is one of the guys you want to scan. Yes, it is. My journey comes to an end. The thrice cursed Ing prepared an ambush of singular cunning in the mining station. They caught me in it like a neophyte fresh from the training halls. I have sent 5 score of their number to whatever foul pit they call the afterlife, but in vain. My life is extinguished. Again, if you see a red one, scan it. Do not... I cannot make myself clearer on this. Scan the red Luminoths. That thing we just got was a Dark and Light Beam ammo expansion. Basically what that does is, for every one you find, you get 50 more Dark and Light ammo. Like, just right out of the box. No strings attached. And there's one in each area of the game. So that means that there's one in the Agon Wastes, one in the Great Temple Grounds, and one of the two of the other areas we have not been to yet. And usually you can't find them until you're relatively far into that area and right before you can go to the temple. Again, Dark Beam. The only thing about it that kind of sucks is the rate of fire is a little shitty. There we go. Few shots took him out. Because I believe the Dark Beam is as powerful as a missile, sort of like the Ice Beam was in the first game. And like the Ice Beam, it'll actually freeze enemies in place and allow you to blow them up with the missile. So like, I mean, I could see some people kind of getting annoyed with the, I could see some people getting annoyed with the way they handled the Dark and Light Beams and just like, why make something that's the Ice and Light Beam when they're just not? Why not just have, the regular weapon? And I don't know, I don't really mind that too much because I feel like it's a creative way of, reintroducing similar ideas. Well, because like for Metroid Prime 2, they could have easily just sort of recycled a lot of the first game, which it does to some extent. But I give Metroid Prime 2 a lot of props for all the things it does differently to distinguish itself from the first game. Not all sequels do that. Some of them just sort of stick to a set formula, like New Super Mario Brothers. And I'm glad that Retro Studios took some interesting risks here. One of the things that makes this version of the game, the Wii version, so much easier than the GameCube version is the fact that and I should have gone over this once we got the Morph Ball bombs, like back in part 3. Oh boy. Yeah. I might have to backtrack. But Samus can jump. You could make Samus use the jump ball by flicking the remote. So much easier than... it makes all the Morph Ball sections in this game so much easier. And one boss in particular... Like, there are a few bosses in this game that are kind of infamous among the community. But most of them are much simpler to take on, much less annoying in the Wii version because you have the jump ball. Because you don't have to use the Morph Ball bombs to jump. If you don't like the fact that the jump ball is here for some reason, just want to do it, with bombs, you can still do that if you want. I wouldn't recommend it because it's annoying, but like when I played the Wii version first and then sort of backpedaled to the GameCube version later, just because I wanted to see what both versions were like. And there's one boss in particular that I cannot stand in the GameCube version that is actually pretty fun in the Wii version. So, again, I feel like a lot of people throw this version under the bus just because motion controls, and it's so much easier to hate on them than to actually discuss what they do right. And, again, this is one of the games that really used it well. And they didn't necessarily have to map the jump ball to the motion control, but, well, motion control also insofar as it eases aiming and whatnot, but, the new additions that came along with the motion control really served to round out the original experience and sort of correct some of the bigger flaws with the original. I consider this more of a port than a remake. I guess it's compared to some of the games I've referred to as remakes, Metroid Prime Trilogy would be up there, but I really do think that this game is, for Metroid Prime 1 and 2 anyway, can't say as much for this game's version of Prime 3, but I can't go that way yet, so I'm going to be backtracking. But this game really did... I really do think that this game is a pretty solid remake, if not a replace, for Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Because it more or less recreates everything that was great about the original games, while, sort of smoothing out some of the things that, people have always just never liked about them. That being the single analog control scheme and the Morph Ball jump. The addition of the Morph Ball jump. There's also the fact that if you were playing this version, you get an extra difficulty setting that wasn't available before. And, of course, you also get... Another thing that they added that makes it easier to get the scan log entries is that if you replay on the same save file, then all the scans that you got before are saved. So if you're just going for all the concept art and stuff and don't want to have to, you know, are annoyed with some things, you could just do it's. Well, I'm just blathering now. Never mind. Let's see. I want to go this way. We want to go back to that first scan activated portal we saw earlier. I think I'm going to make this part a little longer than usual because I did promise a boss fight and you guys will have it. Just taking me a little longer to get there than I thought. The last key is in the temple, so, you know, don't feel like there's some sort of obscure thing you gotta do to get the final one. Just go back to the temple. The Dark Temple, of course. Does this hurt me? No, but it fucks up your vision. Something fierce. Open the gate there. They'll slowly activate. We jump through. I'm curious. I think what they're doing for the portal sequence is part of it is pre-rendered and part of it's not. Because no matter what, when Samus disappears, the background is orange behind her. Well, spoiler alert, there are multiple suits in this game. And some of the suits will, you know, they're different colors than orange, but the background stays orange when they fade away. So, like, I feel like what they did. We can finally identify that enemy I promised earlier. There it is. We saw one of these in the Great Temple, but these are light flyers. The light flyer is an aggressive flying drone. Once loyal to the Luminoth, it will now fire a burst of energy at any living thing within range. It generates light at all times, making it somewhat easy to target. Pretty easy to take out. A couple missiles. Do not shoot them with the dark beam, because since they... Basically what happens is if you shoot a dark beam at a beacon or a safe zone, it'll deactivate it. And then you can't use it, and then that sucks, because you need the beacons to get around and stuff, so... But you can reactivate the beacon using the light beam. And then there's another power-up we'll be getting earlier that does like a third thing to the beacons. Again, I mean, you cannot go wrong when facing any enemies in using the light beam. That is the most effective weapon against them. It'll kill them faster, you know. And that's kind of something I like about the light ammo compared to, or the beams in this game compared to the first game. Okay, we're gonna go this way first. There should be, let's see. Yes, right here. There is our first temple key. That should be our third temple key. No, I'm sorry. We got all of them now. So now we can open the door and access the temple. And as you might imagine, we're fighting a boss before that happens. Now, since I've been bum rushing this, because I don't want to have to bother to wait, I think what I'm actually going to do here is let the safe zone refill my health. I could go back out and shoot a bunch of crates, but you know that has potential for me to lose health in the meanwhile going through blood. You get my drift. We're just gonna fast forward through this little part here and wait for it to refill my energy. Okay. It took a little while, but in the game's defense, like, if I hadn't been bum rushing, then perhaps that wouldn't have been the case. It's not like the boss here is that hard, so whatevs. You know, I think I'm actually going to save this for next part after all, because this part's gone on a little longer than I would have liked. So join me next time for when we take on this boss. I promise, and restore the light energy to the Agon Temple. So I'll see you guys then.